So, as some of you know, some of you don't know, the combine was actually this past weekend. And basically, what the combine is, if you're new to the NFL, is college players that are ready to play in the NFL or are going to work out for the NFL literally do just that. So, there's a draft, and what they do is they'll go and they will do everything. So I brought some, or so you can see here. So obviously the quarterbacks do, throwing drills. The wide receivers do catching drills. The running backs, run. Most of them run as well. Uh, and for these, what are billion-dollar companies, these are huge investments in these young men. So they'll do all that. So it's going to be all like the physical stuff. They look at their tape, they look at everything. Anyway, so with that being said, they also do an interview, and it's basically like a job interview. You're interviewing with, usually it is the head coach, and then general manager, maybe the offensive, defensive coordinators, things like that. Now, at a typical job interview, the stakes are a little lower for both parties. It's just kind of like, hey, if he doesn't work out, we'll pick somebody else up. But in the case of the NFL, these are huge. These first round draft picks are massive, massive investments. And so when they do these interviews, you would think, and they try to like get to know the player, get to know, how he might fit in the locker room, if he's a good locker room fit, if this is what they need, if it's something that they don't need, if they think they might have trouble, with the player down the line, whatever the case might be. I mean, this is serious business, and both parties take it as such. However, and interviews can usually happen if, like, there's a big time free agent, different things like that. So with that being said, all of that was set up to listen to the 15 weirdest questions that were ever asked of people. So we will take a look at the 15 questions. 15 weirdest questions, USA Today. NFL teams have asked prospects at the combine. Now, this is a little old. Yeah, it's 2018. So it is a little old. But let's see. Again, teams do background checks. Teams find out who you hang out with. Teams find out who you might associate. Anything. Anything and everything. All right? Some of these are offensive or downright ignorant. Do you find your mother attractive? Was one of the questions. I've heard an NFL team ask a prospect so far, do you find your mother attractive? Bro, what the fuck is that, bro? Okay. 2, do you like men? Bro, this is... Seinfeld had an episode about this in the 90s. This is like... Not that there's anything wrong with that. This is insane. Like, why would you ask that? Why? What would possess you? Again, even though these are high stakes, you don't want to be asking that. That's insane. First of all, clearly homophobic. I mean, let's get that right out the way. That's homophobic. But second of all, who cares? That has nothing to do with the performance on the field or how they would be in the locker room, if they would be a locker room fit or not. Clearly, they've played well enough to reach combine. So, anyway, let's see. But this was asked to Eli Apple. I've been asked a lot of weird questions. I don't know if I could say on TV. So, good God, it gets probably worse. Okay, but these are the ones that they felt were safe enough. Been asked a lot of weird questions. I don't know if I can say on TV. The Falcons coach, one of the coaches was like, so do you like men? It was like the first thing he asked me. It was weird. I was like, no. He was, if you're going to come to Atlanta, sometimes that's how it is around here. You're going to have to just get used to it. Homophobia? Or people asking about your sex life is what happens in Atlanta? Also, these are pro players. They're not like amongst the general populace. Not that they're above people, but they're rich. They're going to be rich as hell. Okay, that's fine. I don't get that. The only thing I can think is, in the facility, are they asking that? Whatever. Okay, so here, I guess he was joking, but they have to ask most of these questions to see how you're going to react. Now that's interesting. That's interesting. So maybe to see if either he or that person is homophobic, or if they're quick to trigger. Still insane. There's gotta be something else you can ask. Do you like men seems insanely, it's just homophobic. When did you lose your virginity? Fuck you mean? What? Strangest questions. D.E. Obum. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Watchum has heard at the combine. When did you lose your virginity? He didn't answer. Bro, that is insane. At a job interview, basically. This is a job interview. For $1 billion company. This is Apple. This is Apple asking you. When did you lose your virginity? Tim Cook. Get out of my pants, son. Crazy. Is your mother a prostitute? That's right. No, my mom's not a prostitute, Brian told Yahoo Sports. I got really mad, but I didn't show it. I got a lot of questions like that. Does she still do drugs? I sat and answered all of them. I feel like there's other ways to ask that. Like, even if, again, huge investments, even if that were something that you were concerned about, there has to be a better way to ask that. I know football teams turn a blind eye to a lot of things, I'm sure. There has to be a better way to ask that. Like, what the fuck is that, dude? You can't ask if your mother's a prostitute? What's wrong with you? Oh my, what's your murder weapon of choice? When a scout asked me at the combine if I had to murder someone, would I use a gun or a knife? There was actually a correct answer to this. And I hate to say it, like, it kind of makes sense in if you just take the question at face value. You should not be asking this question 100%. That is fucking weird, man. Oh, they didn't show it. Okay, so I guess the correct answer was it was a gun because it's quicker. Whereas a knife, it's more intentional and, more personable. Like, you got to do it face to face kind of thing. And you're gonna probably have to do it more than one time. So that was the answer to how would you murder somebody with a gun or a knife? Okay. Okay, others are more playful but don't really have anything to do with football. Would you rather be a cat or a dog? Listen, man, I swear I'm not like trying to be PC principal. Something about dehumanizing questions seems odd to ask a bunch of young black men. You know what I'm saying? Like, even any young men, but especially, you should not be asking that to anyone. But it's like, especially like, man, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Cam Newton asked, was asked this same question in 2011, and he brilliantly answered, I see myself as more of a human being. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's good. Where are you sitting on a bus speeding on a mountain? Okay. New weirdest combine cue for Brandon Doherty. WQ, you're on a mountain in Alaska on a bus going 100 miles per hour. Where are you sitting on the bus? What the fuck do you answer to that? What do you answer? Like, seriously, what do you answer? The back? The furthest back? I'm assuming this is trying to, like, trigger, like, critical thinking. But it's like they're too cuting themselves, you know? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. Like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Where does the sun rise and where does it set? East and west. I mean, I get that feels like common knowledge. That he walked into the room to meet with one specific team. The head coach and scout declined to shake his hand. Okay. And then they glared at him for a while before somebody asked this question. Where does the sun rise and where does it set? Bro, that is fucking weird. They are some weirdos, man. Oh, shit. Would you share your internet history with us? Baylor OT Spencer Drango said one team at the combine asked him, would you share your internet history with us? I would say no. Oh my god. He said, sure, I search a lot of food. Okay. Dude, this one's super weird. Okay, so I did see this one. I had pre-seen this, obviously. And I was just like, looking at this like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, so what color is chocolate? Why does this question get so much weirder? Okay, just watch. What color is chocolate? I think it was the Cardinals coach who started by asking me, what color is chocolate? Brown. And then he was like, what color is melted chocolate? And I said, I think I said dark brown. And he said, no, don't overthink it. So I said brown. Then he said, what color is butter? Then what color is melted butter? Yellow. What color is snow? White. What color is melted snow? I said white. Then he said, nope, melted snow is clear. So what does that make snow? I was like, clear? Yup. And that's kind of the icebreaker. Now, these are long interviews. Like, these are like, from my understanding, these are like hours worth of interview, you know? That's how you're starting, bro? Boxers or briefs? When a scout at the combine asked me boxers or briefs. How many ways could you use a brick in a minute? No. Bro, I swear they picked up like critical thinking, like coloring book, and were like, this. I'm pretty sure Aristotle said these things, so I'm gonna use this right now. The Cleveland Browns, that explains a lot. That explains so much. The Cleveland Browns asked me how many ways could you use a brick in a minute, said Jaguars draft pick Chris Smith. That was probably the weirdest question that I was asked to me, but everyone else was kind of easy going. My God. They wanted to see how much of a student of the game you are. What? Of what game? The masonry game? God damn, dude. That is weird. That's weird. What team do you pick in Madden? I guess that's a way of saying, like, which one's your favorite team. But, dude, the Cleveland Browns are paying me millions, I like the Cleveland Browns. Like, I'm not. Oh, man. Sometimes it's tough. Because, like, I see what they're trying to do. Okay, what's your favorite team without asking, hey, what's your favorite team? Because I'm sure if they ask who's your favorite team, every interview they're going to say, oh, you are my favorite team. I just, like, that is the most obvious dumb thing I've ever, whatever. Okay, weird question. What kind of fish are you? Agent told me one of his clients in the combine interviewed asked what kind of fish he would be. Response, shark. What was the point of that? Hell yeah, dude. What was the point of that? And last but not least, are you afraid of clowns? True story. One player was asked during the combine interviews if he was afraid of clowns. I don't think that there's a I mean, unless you count the Cleveland Browns again, that's clown. Oh, why does that matter? Bro, I swear sometimes teams do too much, and they have no idea what's happening. Like, what? Why would you ask that? That has nothing to do with football. That has not, like, I just don't get it. I really just don't get it. And again, we always wonder why NFL teams have so much trouble drafting. Maybe it has something to do with them wasting time asking insane questions. Just a thought. Yeah, clearly. I mean, I'm sure this is how, like, people like Zach Wilson or, Mitch Trubisky get like high marks for some reason, and then other players don't. I mean, I guess you got to play the game, but damn, dude, this just seems like a waste of time. That's crazy.